Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Virgo for November 2018. Go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and see the wealth of free resources and other resources I have there. Also, if you've been wanting to have a live reading for me, I'm off my long sabbatical from taking on new clients, so you can book a live reading now at anniehelpsyou.com. So what's going on in this month of November? We have way more nice aspects than we do challenging ones. This is rare because usually even when there's something that is very exciting going on, as we've had quite a bit of that lately, it's usually coupled with this like kind of throwing this like wrench in the, it's like it's sweet, but then it's sweet, but then it's But this month of November, we have mostly sweet aspects with very few just little spots here. And included in the month is a series of the luckiest days of the year. So I'm going to talk more about that when we get to the general transits that come after the Virgo specific reading. Okay, so my main focus this month is to talk about some crossroads energy and talk about Jupiter changing signs, what the implications of that are, and where in the Virgo early, middle, and late degree placement charts this Jupiter is going to be and what you can expect from that. So I have a surprise planned for you in celebration of my 6-year anniversary for doing horoscopes on YouTube, and in celebration for Jupiter moving into Sagittarius, which is its own sign. I am finally going to give you the visual that I have been telling you that I would love to show you for these early, middle, and late degree charts. I always explain to you that the charts look really different, especially when you compare the early and lates, that things can be in a drastically different place in the chart, that if you're not giving all the details about how it's staggered for each, that it's just not accurate in many cases. So I do this extra time and extra work to do this for you, but it's been kind of hard to understand just listening to it. So I figured out finally how to plug in a video where I have the charts up and I explain this crossroads energy, also show you where Jupiter is. So I'm going to click over to that here in a second. And then after that, I'm going to come back to this video with me here, and talk about Jupiter in the 4th house for you early degree placements, and coming soon for some of you middle, and then Jupiter still in the 3rd house for the rest, for middle, and then late degree placements and what the implications of that are, things to know about Jupiter in general as it makes a transit. But first, let's check these charts out for the first time. If you want to fast forward through the charts, you can do it with my blessing and just come back to where I'm explaining the things that I think energetically will be happening. But I caution you that you're going to be missing out on some really good stuff. So definitely I recommend you take the few minutes with me to see what I'm talking about here. And then you'll, could learn some pretty major things and get some visuals that could be life-changing for some people. Okay, Virgo friends, this is what I've been wanting to show you for so long, why I take the time to differentiate between early, middle, and late degree placements. Okay, so we've got 3 charts here representing the early, middle, and late. So we've got 4 degrees representing our early degree chart. That will look very similar to your chart if you are at 4 degrees. It'll be staggered a little bit if you were anywhere else in the early, but basically 0 to 9 degrees, or the first 10 days of the sign, are the early Virgo placements. Middle Virgo is from 10 to 19 degrees, so we're using 14 as our middle ground here, or the second 10 days in the sign. Late degree placements are between 20 and 29 degrees, so we've got you here. 24 would be like the middle of the late. Okay, so let's look at Jupiter, because that is what we're focusing on this month. Jupiter is moving into Sag. It's a new sign for you early degree placements. This Jupiter is imminently moving into this 4th house of home and family, which we're going to go into more details, and also something why I'm calling this energy radical crossroads for you all. And this is true for you all. It's just going to be staggered, okay? Is because when you have an outer planet cross over one of these cusps, notice how this line is darker. See how this line right there and this line that like makes a cross in the chart, and this line right here and this line right here. Any activity, outer planet activity that occurs, or eclipses or anything that occur on this line, creates a crossroads energy. So for those of you in the early degree sector, while Jupiter crosses over this 4th house cusp of home and family, it's kicking a 180-degree angle up to this 10th house cusp, which rules your work, your place out in the world. Also, 4th house is mother energy, 10th house is father energy. So some of you, it's going to depend on your exact chart, which is going to be impossible to tell on the general horoscope, but some of you will also have a double crossroads of an exact 90-degree angle here, and here, and here, and here. So your 1st and 4th house cusps of yourself and then your relationship, all your relationships are also going to be at major crossroads. So early Virgo people, at bare minimum, you've got this 180 thing with your home and work, like overstimulation, meaning lots going on, or transition, or moving for a job, or losing a job, gaining a job, starting a business, something, important things are going on here. Now, this whole thing that I just pointed out, you middle degree placements, let's just erase all that now so we can move the middle guys over here. You middle guys are not going to have that yet because you see Jupiter is further. Okay, here's our middle. There's early again. See how Jupiter was over here just about to cross over the line to the 4th house for the early. Check out for middle, it's set back a little bit more from that 4th house. It's not quite there yet. It's going to be staggered by some months, depending on exactly what your degree is. But for you middle degree placements, you're starting to feel the whispers of Jupiter in the 4th house. But it'll take a couple of months before it starts to get in there for some of you, and it'll take even more than that for the latter part of the middle degree. Now when you look at, all right, let's get that out of there. Okay, look at the late degree placements. Check out Jupiter over here. It's way at the beginning of the 3rd house. So as you all in the early and middle have the 4th house either being fully accentuated or starting to get the whispers, you late degree people, you're still having Jupiter very fully focused on the 3rd house. Okay, so that is what I wanted to talk about. And as far as the crossroads energy, you can see that this Jupiter coming here to make this angle and possibly these other angles, that's going to be staggered for you. But sensitive Virgos who are late degree placements will feel that change coming. This is a big deal. And you middle degree people, you're pretty close there. You could already have started this and feel it coming, but it's going to get stronger for you in coming months. This energy of major crossroads, radical crossroads. Okay, so one more quick look at the charts just to show you how even the personal planets, the ones that move more slowly, move more quickly. We were looking at this outer planet of Jupiter, which moves more slowly. I just want to show you how the report can be different and stagger in timeline, even for something like the sun placement. Okay, so for you early degree people, we got you here. Look at the sun, very much accentuating your 3rd house. All right, for you middle degree people, where's the sun? Is it in the 3rd house? No, not yet. Some of you, early, middle, yeah, it is there for you. Middle, not quite. And later middle, the sun's kind of back here, So, yeah, the sun's going to go into that house for you this month, but it's going to be staggered by a few weeks. And then when you take the late degree people into consideration here, which nobody ever does except me, it seems. I'm not forgetting you guys because that's why I do this. You all have to be included. So check out the sun over here. Very fully in the 2nd house, right? Okay, so while we start out the month for the early degree people with the sun accentuating the 3rd, you guys in the late, it's going to take a while to get there. A couple of weeks, up to 4 weeks if you're in the very end. So you have some different things going on. Now, there are places where we can meet, and in the events where I say all Virgos have this house accentuated, that could mean that you all have something in the 3rd house, just not the same things in the 3rd house. So you can see that for the month of November, the late degree people have the 3rd house accentuated. Early degree people have the 3rd house accentuated. There are different reasons why the 3rd house is accentuated for some, but it's still a common ground. And that's probably what you know, a lot of people doing horoscopes do, will just find a house is being accentuated, doesn't matter what's doing where, and say the third house is accentuated for all of you. And sometimes I also do that, but there are instances like the, you can see where if you don't go into the details, it's not completely accurate for all of the sign. Okay, so these are the things I wanted to talk about, but now I'm going to go and explain what you can expect from Jupiter moving into the placement it's going for each of you, because that's the focus of this video. But I wanted to take the time to do this lesson. Okay, so we're going to get into that now. Wasn't that exciting? Okay, so now you can see very clearly how there is a difference between the charts and the placements of the planets depending on what your particular Virgo placement is. You can also see that crossroads energy in a deeper way. So now that you can see that the early degree placements have the energy in the 4th house for Jupiter starting now, and then you middle degree placements, you'll start feeling this more in the next couple of months. Later middle degree, it might be a little bit further after that. Late degree placements, you'll start to get a taste of this more towards like April. And then when Jupiter retrogrades, it'll back up off of it, you know, back into the 3rd house where it's going to be predominantly here. And then later on into 2019, you late degree placements will have this Jupiter energy in the 4th house. So definitely all of you pay attention, even though for this very moment, it's most relevant for Jupiter for early Virgo. Okay, so Jupiter is the great expander. Wherever it goes, it brings growth and makes things bigger and can bring relief and can bring that sense of just, you know, just expansion. So when you apply that to home and family, it can grow your home or family. Some people will get a second home. Some people will move to a bigger house. Remember that expansion is relative. So you might experience more freedom feeling of expansion by moving into a bigger home. Many, many, many Virgos with this placement are going to expand their home, remodel, move to a bigger home, buy the land next to them, something like that. But for some people, expansion will feel like selling their big home and having a little bit of upkeep and a low mortgage or something like that, low overhead. So they can feel expanded. Moving for some people, moving to the city will feel expansive. For other people, they're restricted by the city and moving out to the country will feel expanded. But an increase in feeling of expansion in your home space, whatever that looks like. And again, like I said, it could be additive. So you could start a multiple residency or buy a second home or start spending time in another place that is like now another extended piece of home for you. It can also extend or expand the energy of family. So a lot of people are going to find out they're pregnant, Virgo placements. A lot of people are going to find out their sister or brother or another relative is pregnant bringing a baby in, or there may be an in-law coming into the family, or you may have a relative coming to live with you. This is also expanded changes to your home, including amount of people in your house. So if it's not you having a baby, it could be some other occupants, a roommate, a relative, somebody coming to move with you where your house size or your household size is expanded. This can, let's see, this can also be really great for doing inner work around childhood, because this is the house of early childhood, like the childhood that you remember, you know, like 7 and on, not the early time, but things related to childhood or healing things, trauma and things from childhood. This is an amazing time. And sometimes, unfortunately, Jupiter has to exacerbate in order to get its desired solution and expansion. But when Jupiter brings up a problem, usually the solution is right next to it. You know, it's a big problem, but then it like forces you to look for the solution, which is often very close by. So it seeks to resolve by sometimes amplifying an issue with family, with home. So the keynote here is freedom. And it might not feel like that at first, but that's what it's leading towards. Okay, so for those of you who, oh, by the way, this is also related to real estate. If you have a real estate business or a design business, or you work from your home business, or those other businesses related to homes or construction, something like that, can be expanded as well. So this is an amazing transit for real estate deals. Now, November in general is a little dicey as far as trying to make contracts. Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, you got a lot going on. Doesn't mean that something good can't happen. It just means that we're talking about the longer term here as far as, you know, investment expansion and real estate expansion. But if you've been wanting to get into real estate or expand something with real estate, this is an amazing time. This transit is really amazing for that. Okay, so the rest of the placements, middle and late degree, are either going to have a short amount or a long amount of time still with this third house energy. So be ready for continued prolific expression. This is giving a voice to your ideas. This has to do with writing, editing, speaking, communicating, any other modes of communication, expression. It could also seek to expand how you communicate, so familiarity and usage, expertise with social media or devices. I don't love November in general for buying a new car or device, but if you can hold out for like around the holiday, towards the end of December, when they're like big blowout or holiday sale or must go 2018 stuff, that would be an amazing time to buy stuff. So if you've got to get a new car, you know, if you got to get a new device, try to hold off till like the middle or closer to the end, if possible, of December, and then January is very wide open. So this transit is seeking to expand your transportation and your mobility. If you've been having trouble with your mobility, maybe from a physical thing, you could you could find a solution there. So it's seeking to make you more mobile. It's also seeking to increase your personal communication style and the results of it. In general, Jupiter moving through the third house can bring a lot of busyness. So just be prepared to be very busy or continue being very busy, since this, you know, has been going on for you for a while. And this energy in Gemini really likes dabbling. It also in Sag likes dabbling. This is like a double dabble type of transit. So you might find that you're excited about a bunch of different things. And in general, Virgo tends to focus, you know, has powers of concentration on things, right? It's not that they can expand their view, they certainly can. But usually, like, get this job done, focus on this job, get it done. But you may find that you're interested in a bunch of different things at once. And that's true to the energy. It could be a little overstimulating, but it just goes with it. So these are the things that are most on my mind. Definitely Jupiter wants you to go big, wants you to plant lots of seeds. The more seeds you plant during this time, the more over the next 12 years these can take root. I had a wonderful synchronicity occur while I was recording today. In a place that I used to live, I planted a lot of things. I had a very extensive garden. And somebody who was house sitting over at that place just texted me and said, these hollyhocks that you planted, you know, years ago are growing really well, and that's what I mean about these seeds. So it's just kind of funny because I'm here talking about this, and then I get this text that seeds that I planted, literal seeds that I planted years ago, are growing now in beautiful ways. And hollyhocks are tall, beautiful fairy flowers. They're amazing, and they're really something to see. And anytime you see them, be like, oh my God, what is that? So it's kind of a very celebratory event when a hollyhock is blooming. But with the seed planting, so anything that you do in these arenas that I've just discussed, even if they don't manifest during the time that Jupiter is in this space for you, for the next 12 years of the cycle, they can grow. Okay, so you want to plant as many seeds as possible and go big, because that even if you fall short, then you still went further than you would have, and that's what Jupiter wants you to do. So those are the things most on my mind for Virgo right now. Now let's look at those sweet dates, those dates to watch, and some other things to know about Jupiter moving through Sagittarius. So my theme of the month of November 2018 for all signs is defiant optimism and relentless hope. And I'm getting this from the energy of Jupiter in Sagittarius. We've just talked at length about how Jupiter in each of the houses of, you know, your individual sign can bring that energy of Jupiter into certain areas of your life. But the general experience for everybody that everyone has access to has to do with this increased energy of sparkling luck, defiant optimism, relentless hope, unprecedented growth, glorious expansion, because Jupiter is so happy to be in its own sign, and this only happens for 1 year every 12 years. So it's a very big deal. You can think back to what was going on 12 years ago and the kinds of themes and things that showed up, and you can see how it may relate to this current transit. Of course, there are different factors at play now than there were then as well. It's always more complicated. And of course, not every person is going to experience the energy of defiant optimism and relentless hope You know, we shade how we see things with how we are and what our outlook is, or what we have going on in our lives, or whatever our more personal chart has going on that we may not be able to see in the general horoscope. So we see things sometimes as we are, or as influences are around us, not always how they really are, right? That's reality is subjective. But in any case, this energy of teaching, learning, speaking, writing, publishing, religious, spiritual work, international travel, international business, global connections, different countries, different cultures, different languages, general expansion, general happiness, general freedom is this theme that's running through for the next year, from the end of 2018 through the end of 2019. So Jupiter is the natural ruler of Sagittarius in the 9th house. It's most happy here and exuberant. We can see this energy of one's perceptions or beliefs being broadened. Many people will have learning frenzies where they feel so driven to learn more, and the things that they're learning may be more diverse in nature. Maybe they'll go headlong into one course of study, or maybe it's a general course of study under which there are lots of little pieces. Jupiter likes to get its fingers in a lot of pudding pies. So Jupiter favors breadth, sometimes even over depth. You know, it's the more seeds you plant now during this time, the more plants can grow from the seeds that you've planted over the next 12 years. So zealotry with a belief system or studies can definitely happen because Jupiter is the energy of excess. So we'll see this extra oomph being added to however Jupiter is manifesting. So the energy of legal matters can also come through in a very big way. One of the rulers of the legal realm is Sagittarius and the 9th house. So sometimes there's an amplification of a problem that's already brought to the law. Sometimes, you know, this escalation brings it, but it will very likely be in the forefront over the next year. So we still have Venus retrograde until the middle of the month, and so we're not going to be seeing clearly in love, beauty, and money in many regards. However, Venus retrograde can also bring in things that we plan to do for a long time, things that we were hoping for, things that we were working towards can magically start to come in wonderful ways. If there are issues in love, self-esteem, or money or finances, sometimes those issues come back up to be dealt with. Sometimes things that we've dealt with in the past now come in as blessings in this time. So definitely check out my resources. I've done so much work for you on Venus retrograde, but I'm not going to get into that here because you can look at the October horoscope to see where Venus has been working in your sign. You can also look up Annie Botticelli, Venus retrograde, to find my blog, very comprehensive, and my video, very comprehensive, that tells you everything that you need to know about Venus retrograde and how to navigate the transits. We are also going to have Mercury going retrograde. So that is another factor here that has to be taken into consideration. On the 15th, we have the retreat of Mercury from 13 degrees of Sagittarius back to 27 degrees of Scorpio. So that rolls until around December 6th. And then the post-shadow period runs until around the 24th of December. So if you're trying to focus on Christmas shopping or whatever other holidays you celebrate, the later kind of last-minute shoppers will probably benefit more here, because by the time you're getting into mid-December, a lot of the shadow period of the Mercury, retrograde and post-shadow, post-transit shadow period will have passed. So you're better off doing it later, because there are a lot of factors involving money. But, you know, follow your flow. If you're feeling inspired, just do your thing. But you will notice, if you track making purchases when Mercury's in retrograde over time, that they tend to come in broken or the wrong size, or you don't like it, or the person doesn't like it. It increases the odds of communication about what people want and about what you're ordering. So the energy is more clear towards the middle of December. So, you know, the couple of weeks before the holiday times. So now, since we've found this amazing truth that there are more positive aspects this month than there are negative aspects, and there are a massive amount. This is a very rare month indeed. I want to touch on some of those beautiful aspects. First, I'm going to give you the dates that the positive aspects happen. And remember, when I give you the dates, that sometimes you feel the expression before or after that day. Don't cling too tightly to the actual day, because there are orbs of energy around each transit that can manifest in the days before or after. So November 1st, these are the sweet days, or the sweet aspects. November 1st, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th, 15th, 20th, 22nd, 23rd, 25th, 26th, and 27th. So within all of that, we also have some of the best beautiful aspects of the year, with Jupiter coming together with personal planets that can bring amazing luck, some of the luckiest days of the year. So we have those wrapped up into this, okay? So the likelihood of stress, challenges, and overstimulation or general awkwardness is more likely in the days around the 15th, 19th, 22nd, 23rd, and 30th. So you notice a lot less here, a lot less. We start out November. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of some of the main transits and what you can expect with them. But to get more details about this and a written version of it, definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and sign up for my free email newsletter, and you will get a month ahead the written version of the transit so that you can plan around it, because I know many people, including myself, do that. So the first, we've got this amazing transit with Jupiter and Chiron in a trine. This is a major boost to ignite your superhero self. Anything that was a challenge in the past could come back to you in a wonderful way. Let's say you've had a problem, it's been ongoing, you've been working on it, or there's an area of life that you have to work harder in. This period of time could bring major blessings in those areas. We also have, between the 5th and the 6th, the Sun and Neptune being in a beautiful aspect that can boost love and intimacy and tenderness and spiritual breakthroughs and creativity. On the 7th, we've got the new moon at 15 degrees of Scorpio. And this is time to make your new moon and wishes of anything Scorpio related. So anything having to do with debt, loans, borrowing money, loaning money, inheritances, intimacy, sex, power, esoteric studies, psychology, anything along the Scorpio lines. Between November 8th and 9th, we've got Jupiter entering Sagittarius. Yay! This is very exciting. Very, very happy in that place. We've talked at length about that. And then on the 9th, we also have Venus making a beautiful aspect with Mars, the female energies and male energies blending beautifully at this time. The draw to connect socially and romantically may be stronger now, and nice outcomes from that. Of course, still be aware that Venus is in retrograde, so you're not seeing clearly in love. And because of the closeness to Mercury being in retrograde, just keep it in mind as you're navigating through these relationship things. But either way, energy returning from the past rather than new endeavors are better supported, but just male and female energies coming together can really sizzle now. It's also great for charisma and creativity and overall sweetness. Okay, so then on November 11th, we've got the Sun in this beautiful aspect with Pluto. And this has to do with your determination and your drive and your purpose, which can feel extra strong right now. Even though Venus in retrograde doesn't work well to support major launches, this is a time that expansion of something already in process can be great. So if you're following a continuum, you have something that you've been doing and then you add to it, you enhance it. This is a period of time where things like that can do well, like edits or experimentation to work that's already in play, or betas, things like that. Maybe you might be able to get some information there. Okay, so the 15th, Mars and Uranus are in a beautiful aspect. And this has to do with exciting and positive change, can have to do with wild insights that could turn out to have major merit. The energy of Uranus is fleeting. So if anything is going on in this time and you have a really good idea, definitely write it down, because you think when you have the idea, there's no way I'll forget this idea, but Uranus energy tends to, it's not very stable. But you could do something more substantial with it in the future if you hold on to it. So write down your crazy ideas. November 15th, we've got Venus direct at 25 degrees of Libra. That post-shadow period ends December 18th. So we're moving out of the Venus retrograde cycle, but there's still like a hangover of it where you're still really feeling it, and the rules still apply to a lesser degree with each day you pass out of the transit. November 15th also, Mercury goes retrograde at 13 degrees of Sag, back to 27 degrees of Scorpio. So Mercury can often bring back to us places, people, creative projects, ideas that were present before that can come back. You may find that you are very drawn to do work on publishing things. It's not the best time to launch them, but it is an amazing time to work with them in the backdrop, to do edits, to wrap up things in anticipation of this open window that's coming soon that we've been waiting for forever to push things out. I love the end of December and into January for pushing your publishing or other projects out. So this is a great time to tie up loose ends. November 19th, we've got one of those challenging aspects, Mars and Jupiter. So guard against injuries, especially now. You're more likely to get a cold, or your resistance may be down from overstimulation. This can also manifest as like wanting to expand, but then expansion or movement being blocked. But that should pass over a few days. Then on November 20th, we have another sweet aspect with the Sun and Chiron. So this can bring a wonderful chance for releasing heavy baggage. So Venus is making more of its movement direct. Maybe things that came up in that retrograde may be starting to shift now. And a notable physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual healing is very possible from this transit. Which brings us to November 22nd through the 23rd, the full moon at almost 1 degree of Gemini. It is squaring Mars and opposing Mercury and squaring Neptune and opposing Jupiter. So it's a pretty busy, maybe could be very stressful full moon, but there are positive aspects that can come from it. So fullness, completion, drama, fruition, coming to anything Gemini, you know, any travel things. You could have a trip come up or being followed through with. You could have something notable with your car. Be extra careful driving because Gemini rules transportation and walking and biking and skating and whatever else, flying. Okay, so Neptune moves direct at 13 degrees of Pisces on November 24th. So this can help the fantasies that we've been rolling around in move forward into tangible reality. November 25th and 26th and 27th, we have the Sun and Jupiter getting together in Sag, and then we have the Sun and Mercury getting together. And all of that's wrapped in with this Jupiterian energy. So good news, good luck, auspicious, random things, things expected, things that you planned. This is a beautiful time. So smile big with awesome expectation. Okay, so then we've got November 30th, we've got another little bump here with Venus opposing Uranus. That often brings jolts or surprises or arguments or stressors in love and money. So just breathe deep and know that usually the things that come up with these type of transits feel really upsetting at the time, but they tend to pass pretty quickly. Okay, so these are the things that are most on my mind for the general transits. And I hope that you definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, check out my wealth of resources on my free blogs. Also, you can sign up for my free email newsletter and get updates as far as these newsletters that I send out with the month ahead written. Also, when I update my written horoscopes at cozybysweetstarlight.com. Cozybysweetstarlight.com, I have written horoscopes that often cover different information than I do in the videos. So you can see those, and when you sign up for my free email newsletter, you will know when I update the upcoming month, which of course everything is always ahead of time with me. Then if you're a traveler, go to astrologykissedtravelbliss.com. That is my travel astrology website where I do monthly travel astrology reports if you're traveling, special transits to note for travelers. And if you want a reading, I am still open. I have been closed for a long time on sabbatical from taking on new clients, but if you'd like to have me look at your chart, go to anniehelpsyou.com and you can book a reading with me live. And if you're interested in tarot, definitely go to my husband's website, IamHelios, IamHelios.com, and check out his tarot course where you can learn tarot, and he also does readings. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.